Yep.
You fix your phone?
Yeah, this is actually an iPhone, so it's a new one. Yeah, bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. Guys, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Bismillah. Can you hear me? Oh. That's fine.
I'll probably hear it.
So now you can hear me, guys, right? Alright. What are you doing? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا مولانا رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعد. Guys, Jazakallah khair for coming today. I know it's very difficult. A lot of people are away and it's hard to make it to class. And may Allah give you a reward for this patience. I remember when we were in Egypt, when we were in Egypt, we used to go stay in the masajid for months to memorize the Bukhari and Muslim and the rest of the books of the Sunnah. You know, Abu Dawud, Al-Tirmidhi, and Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, that's the order, the historical order. Musnad Ahmad, Darimi, and Muwatta Malik. We used to sit in the masjid and live in the masjid, basically, live there. The masjid was many floors, and we used to sleep in up floors, right? And then in the bottom, or in the main prayer hall, we used to go for food. When people pray and go, the masjid was big, huge. We go downstairs to eat, and everything was sponsored from the sheikh. Everything was sponsored from the masjid. We didn't have to pay anything, subhanAllah. So you eat there, you exercise, you have time for exercising, you have time for eating, you have time for studying. Basically what we used to do is we used to memorize every day 20 pages. Because you're in the masjid the whole day, you don't go anywhere. You have the students of the sheikh in the masjid and they take our lessons. And then the sheikh comes every week to give a very brief commentary on some of the hadith that we've memorized. Like just word-to-word explanation or just a brief commentary. And then after 40 days, we go back to visit our families for I think for a week, I don't remember exactly. And then you come back to stay in the masjid. And after you're done with that, before you take your Ijaza, you come after a few months, we came back after a few months for revision. And then after that, we had the Ijaza in the memorization of Bukhari and Muslim and the Muttafaq alayh. I remember also when I was in Egypt, in one day I used to go from one side in Cairo to another side in Cairo. In one day. So my entire day I spent it in transportation. Because in Egypt, it's not wise, it's not a good idea to have a car, right? So you have to take public transportation, and then it takes too much of your time. So my entire day was from one shift to another shift. To take Ijazat, and Quran, and Hadith, and Aqidah, and stuff like that. SubhanAllah. I'm just sharing this with you to tell you that what you do right now is great, mashallah. May Allah reward you for this. Maybe that's not exactly what people do in Muslim countries, and that's because of the different environment you live in. So whatever effort you do, Allah really appreciates it. I know it's hard. That's why you're missing a lot of people, which is pretty normal. I don't care how many people are attending. If they still can listen to the lectures and take the test. That's how I see things. Because I know, guys, you have a lot of excuses, and if we don't accommodate you, we're gonna lose you. And we need you more than you need us. Like, literally. I personally need you, and the community needs you more than you need the community. You don't need the masjid, we need you. So we're supposed to be taking care of you. And if anybody is telling you otherwise, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're going to be the leaders of this community, whether we like it or not. So I'm willing to accommodate you anyway. How many of you did not take your test? The first test. Okay, so what time do you guys think you can take it? I think Boston said Tuesday. But you said one day this week, next week. You said, didn't you tell me you're going to take it next week?
Last week.
Last week?
I was talking to you before. Yeah.
Okay, so when do you think you want to take it? Okay guys, there's a time if you want to come on Tuesday. I have a class here between Asr and Maghrib. Would you want to come to the masjid and just take it here? I have the class here for Hafal. Would you like to come to the masjid and I project the test for you and you can take your test on Tuesday? Would that work? Tuesday, of course, because you're here. Ayan, did you take the test?
I did.
You did? Okay. So if you did take the test, you can come any day this coming week, but not Monday, because Monday I'm not going to be here. Are you going to go for soccer here? Yeah, Monday I'm going for soccer, you know. I don't know, soccer don't mix. Huh?
Very busy.
Yeah, very busy day for soccer. And in the morning, you know what I'm going to do in the morning?
Soccer.
No.
Practice shot.
Uh-huh.
Practice shots.
No. I'm going to buy something. I'm going to buy a pet. I'm going to pick up my pet. You know what kind of pet?
Cat. Dog. Cat. Cat. A small dog.
You're going to get a dog. That's going to be a discussion. I mean, if I'm trying to put a discussion at some points, we can do that. I think students wrote something on this in grades 11 and 12, high school. You guys did something? Okay. So if you want to tell your friends about the permissibility of having a dog or the ruling on having a dog, and I'm not encouraging you to buy dogs, guys. I know the culture plays a big role here. When you hear the word dog, you used to get disgusted. It's a natural reaction for Muslims. But if you study it deeply, you will understand the different opinions on having a dog. And as I said before, the same evidences that the three schools of thought used to say that dogs are najis are the same evidences that Imam Malik or the Maliki jurists used to say that dogs are tahir. The same exact evidences, right? That's not our topic today. But basically what I want to tell you is that Monday is a very busy day for me. In the morning I'm going to do that crime. Then at night, after that, in the afternoon, I have to come to the masjid because I have some counseling here between 3 and 6, and then I'm looking for soccer guys until, whatever. If you want to come to class at 5, you take our class and then go for soccer, that's an option. So don't waste the time. Our hadith today is hadith number 11. Guys, just let me tell you something. I have to be a little bit strict. I'm not going to tell you to not attend if you do not take your test. I'm not going to tell you this. But you definitely are not going to be able to take this number 2 if you didn't take number 1. That's a given. Like you cannot take number 2 unless you take this number 1 and pass. Whether you take it 1 time or 2 times or 3 times, you have to pass this number 1 to take number 2. And then eventually, if you don't take the 4 tests, you will never get a certificate. Let alone get an Ijaza. Ijaza is a different level. Ijaza means you have memorized the full 42 ahadith, because there are 42. You have to memorize all of them and they give it to me or to Abdullah in person. Only me and Abdullah. Right? But before that, for memorization, you can give it to anybody else. And from the TAs that we have. That's how I have mentioned them before. Right? But if you want to take an Ijaza, it has to be only through me or Abdullah. Nobody else. That's for memorization purposes. But for that certificate, you have to finish the 4 tests. To go to test number 2, you must take number 1 and pass. I have to be a little bit strict because when I take it too easy, people who are like hardworking students, they might think, you know, we're working so hard, so might as well, you know, might as well take it easy on ourselves. Why are we working so hard and trying to be on time and take the test, first people take the test and study hard and all that. So I'm just here, I have to make this balance here. I hope you get it, inshallah ta'ala. Today is hadith number 11. Does anybody have the translation and is going to say it in English? Okay. Would you like to have a, if you need to have a mic, you can have a mic. If not, I know, mashallah, you have the loud voice. Ishtiyaq actually is one of the Haffaz who, mashallah, have very good voice. Mashallah. His voice is Jahwari. Jahwari, the salt means his voice is loud. To like extend that, you know, I always ask him to lower his voice when he's reading to me, right? Beautiful, so you can mix him around, don't worry about that. الحديث الحادي عشر حديث number 11 عن أبي محمد الحسن بن علي ابن أبي طالب سبط رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وريحانته رضي الله عنهما رضي الله عنهما, may Allah be pleased with Al-Hasan and his father Ali ibn Abi Talib. So عن أبي محمد الحسن بن علي, سيدنا Al-Hasan and Sayyidina Ali رضي الله عنهما, not عنه, two people. عن أبي محمد الحسن بن علي. So every time you mention the Sahabi and his father, you say رضي الله عنهما. عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما. جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله عنهما. Al-Hasan ibn Ali رضي الله عنهما. But if the Sahabi, his father, if the Sahabi's father is not Muslim, you say رضي الله عنه, right? عن أبي محمد الحسن بن علي ابن أبي طالب سبط رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وريحانته رضي الله عنهما قال حفظت, I have memorized. This is one of the foundational ahadith in Islam, and this is actually one of the 4 ahadith that the Imam Abu Dawud rahimahullah mentioned that Islam is built on. One of the 4 ahadith that Islam is built on. He said, and not Imam Abu Dawud actually. Imam Abu Dawud, can anybody remind us of the 4 ahadith Imam Abu Dawud mentioned? That he said Islam is founded on 4 ahadith. Islam has 4 foundational ahadith. What are the 4? Is it Abu Dawud or somebody else? Because this is mentioned in one of the sayings of the scholars as one of the foundational ahadith. I'm not sure if it's Abu Dawud or someone else, just want to verify this. Is it Sayyidina Abu Dawud or someone else? Okay, number 1 is what? لا ضرر ولا ضرار. 2, الأعمال بالنيات. Number 3, دع الشبهات. الحلال بين والحرام بين وبينهما. What is the 4th hadith? Is دع ما يريدك? الدين النصيحة. So it's not Abu Dawud, guys. It's Abu Dawud, but it's definitely one of the foundational hadith according to other scholars, but not Sayyidina Imam Abu Dawud rahimahullah ta'ala. Because if you understand this hadith now,
It was Abu Dhabi. I have it.
what did you have? What are the 4 hadith?
It was دين النصيحة الأعمال بالنيات الشبهات لا ضرر ولا ضرار.
Yeah, but not this one. Down this one. Okay? Yeah, not this one. Right? So Sayyidina Abu Dawud said these 4 hadith that we already studied. Al-A'mal bin-Niyat, that is the intention. Number 2 is لا ضرر ولا ضرار. It's allowed to harm. There's no harm in Islam, basically. لا ضرر ولا ضرار, to yourself or to others. لا ضرر to yourself or ضرار to others. Number 3 is الحلال بين والحرام بين, the doubtful matters, which is the hadith number 10. And then الدين النصيحة. We talked about what nasiha is. This hadith is related to hadith number 10. Hadith number 10, we said before that you can answer a lot of fiqh questions by understanding that in Islam we have some matters are halal and some other matters are haram, and in the middle we have a gray area. A lot of doubtful matters. And most of the questions we have are about doubtful matters, as we explained many times. People ask about credit cards, mortgage, ask about buying a car on the lead. About so many things. Eating in McDonald's, all of you ask about, right?
Dogs.
Huh?
Dogs.
Dogs, having dogs, buying a dog on Monday in the morning and doing imam, what a crime, right? So that's also doubtful matter. So you talk about all this, right? These are doubtful matters, and that's what makes fiqh interesting. That's what makes fiqh interesting. Because if Islam is just rocks, halal and haram, you're going to see all of us looking the same, acting the same, following the same school of thought, the same way of thinking. But it's out of Allah's mercy that we're different. That's what we have, alhamdulillah, planted in this city. You used to go to some masajid, find everybody dressed the same. Okay, whatever. You came from the same culture, I understand that. But that doesn't mean that you guys are reflecting the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It doesn't mean if someone is dressed differently, he's against the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know? So it is beautiful to have these different opinions. This hadith is very related. And the Sayyidina al-Hasan is the grandson of Rasulullah. He said, I've heard my grandfather saying this hadith so many times until I memorized it. It's not he said it once or twice. He did not say sami'tu. Sometimes you hear the Sahabi saying, well, I heard the Prophet saying this hadith. Sometimes he says, qala Rasulullah. Rasulullah said something. But here Sayyidina al-Hasan, the grandson of the Prophet, saying, I have filled too. I have memorized already. He repeats it so many times. What is it? قال صلى الله عليه وسلم دع ما يريبك إلى ما لا يريبك. And then there's another narration فإن الصدق طمأنينة أو فإن الخير طمأنينة وإن الكذب ريبة أو وإن الشر ريبة. You don't have this in your book, but that's another narration that I'm going to tell you right now, so you can add it to Allah Ta'ala. رواه الترمذي وأبو داود وقال الترمذي حديث حسن صحيح. تفضل يا شيخ.
أبو محمد الحسن ابن علي ابن أبي طالب رضي الله تعالى
ابن علي ابن أبي طالب,
the dearly beloved grandson of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said, I memorized from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he said, leave that which makes you doubt for that which does not make you doubt. Reported by Tirmidhi and Nasa'i, with Tirmidhi saying that it is Hasan and Sahih.
Jazakallah khair. Leave that which makes you doubt to that which does not make you doubt. And the hadith before this one, before this was about what? Al-mutashabihat, the doubtful matters. So these ahadith are complementary of each other. So if you memorize hadith number 10, you should memorize hadith number 11. It's very easy. So the question to you guys quickly, it's a technical question. We're not going to get too technical, but for your information, when you read this hadith, you know the classifications of hadith, sahih, لغيره, لذاته, hasan, لغيره, لذاته, ضعيف, hasan. So in this, we have Imam Tirmidhi said, hadith hasan sahih. This hadith is hasan sahih. What does it mean? Hudayfa?
It's missing one thing that makes it sahih. It's called sahih, but it's not called.
He said Hasan Sahih. Hasan Sahih, both. So it's not Sahih or it is Sahih.
It's like it's on the verge.
So it's not really very authentic, but it's getting there. That's the Hasan. Like 90%?
It's in between Hasan.
It's in between. Okay, so that's what you're thinking. Okay. By the way, there's nothing that's 100% except the Quran and the Mutawatir Ahadith. Mutawatir Ahadith. Mutawatir Ahadith means 4 narrators and more. Anything that's lower than this, you have to know this. It's dhanni. It's 90%, 95%. It's never 100% authentic until it's mutawatir, like the Quran. And the Quran is mutawatir. And the mutawatir, we said before, ahad and mutawatir. Right? Ahad and mutawatir. So, Hasan Sahih. Does anybody else have any other understanding of Hasan Sahih? Okay, Hasan Sahih means this hadith is narrated through 2 different chains of narrators, and one of them is very, very authentic, that is Sahih, and the second one is very just very authentic, which is Hasan. So one of them is 95%, which is Sahih, and the other one is 90%, Hasan. So خلاص, that's a Hasan Sahih. By the way, that makes the hadith even more authentic. Because they have two chains of narrators, if not one chain of narrators. خلاص? Which means the Huffaz in that chain of narrators, they were very strong. That the hadith is 90% authentic, they have memorized it accurately. But the other chain of narrators just like 90%. These sometimes make some mistakes or they have some other defaults. The second meaning is they have two different, it means there are two different opinions. And Imam Dawood made his own research, and perhaps the hadith has one chain of narrators, but the scholars had different opinions on those narrators themselves. Some of them said they are very strong, very reliable narrators. Some of them said they are not very reliable. So Imam Dawood, out of his honesty, is telling us it's Hasan Sahih. That's what Abdullah and Huzaifa said. The hadith could be Hasan, could be Sahih. خلاص? Not 100% Hasan or 100% Sahih. طيب. So there's a connection here. That's note number 1. There's a connection between hadith number 10 and hadith number 11. We're talking today about the ibadah, and this ibadah is called wara'. Waw, ra, ayn. Waw, ra, ayn. What is wara'? MashaAllah, we're at the beach here. MashaAllah. Is that doubtful, guys? Is that a doubtful matter? Over there? Is that a doubtful matter?
Yes.
Yes? What is doubtful there?
No, it's kid. Kid.
No, these kid things are not mukallaf. No, it is not halal or haram for them. It's absolutely halal. Let's do whatever. No. Okay. خلاص? Wara' means what? Who knows what wara' means? Wara'. Wara', okay. Wara' basically is to have a distance between you and the haram. You have a huge distance between you and the haram. So wara' is to avoid the doubtful matters. طيب. Wara' is to avoid the doubtful matters. You're not avoiding the haram. Avoiding the haram is taqwa. You have to avoid the haram, taqwa. But avoiding the doubtful matters is wara'. So wara' is wajib or recommended? Wara' is wajib or recommended? Recommended. Taqwa is a wajib or a sunnah? Wajib. خلاص? So taqwa, you must avoid what is haram. Wara', you avoid the doubtful matters. And we now just said, wara' is not a wajib. And this is why the scholars always say, when you give fatwa, خذ نفسك بالعزيمة وأعطي الناس الرخصة. Al-azima, you do wara' yourself as a mufti, as an imam, as someone who gives the answers to people. But if you want to answer questions to people, give them the taqwa. Don't ask them to do wara'. Don't ask them to do wara'. Somebody might say it doesn't apply to you because you're there by a dog. That can go in your head right now, right? But we said before, the doubtful matters are doubtful to who? To some people, to people who don't know the answer. But if you know the answer, it's not doubtful, خلاص. It's not doubtful, right? So now we're talking about wara'. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كن ورعا تكن أعبد الناس. If you have wara', if you can stay from the doubtful matters, you are the most righteous amongst the most righteous. Amongst the most righteous. And then he said صلى الله عليه وسلم فضل العلم خير من فضل العبادة. The virtues of knowledge is way more than the virtues of worship. The level of a scholar is way higher than the level of a worshipper. And then he said, وَخَيْرُ دِينِكُمْ الْوَرَعَ. The best part of your religion is wara'. So if you can stay away from doubtful matters every single time, you're one of the most righteous. خلاص? We're talking about wara' today. There are some said here, stay away from things that make you doubt. How can I identify things that make me doubt? How can I identify them? A man came to the Prophet ﷺ when Rasulullah said, دَعْ مَا يَرِيبُكْ إِلَى مَا لَا يَرِيبُكْ. So we have many narrations of this hadith. The second narration is when he said this, leave what makes you doubt to that which does not make you doubt. A man came and said, well, how can I identify it? How can I know that that causes me doubts? فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ضع يدك على صدرك. Put your hand on your chest. Put your hand on your chest. Not right now. Not right now. He said, when you're going to do something, let's say I'm going to buy a dog. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. That's a good example about that one matters, right? To the general public, right?
Are you gonna do a khutbah right after you get the dog?
To give a dog?
Are you gonna do a
And you know when I'm getting a dog?
yeah, I know.
For some family issues, I have a disaster in my family to fix. It's an emotional support animal. We have letters from doctors.
No, Sheikh, I'm saying, are you gonna do a khutbah?
So that's an excuse, guys. Even if you think it's haram, you know, I have a disaster in my family to fix. Go ahead.
Are you saying you're gonna do a khutbah? Are you going to do a khutbah on Imam Malik's opinion on dogs? Right?
Absolutely. I give many classes on that. If you want me to do the khutbah and have the whole community fighting, you can do that.
Start a fire.
Yeah, they will make the world noise. Yeah, it's okay, guys. I discussed this before in the masjid, but go to the khutbah because I don't need to stir the pot, you know. Yeah. So basically, he said, when you come to do something like doubtful, put your hand on your chest. Let's say one day I'm going to buy a dog. So after I pick it up, and I come back to the city, I put and I'm gonna walk the door and go outside, right? Imagine I'm walking outside with my wife with hijab, and I'm walking next to her, and somebody who knows me saw me walking outside with her dog. Imagine what's gonna happen.
It's a fluffy cat.
Huh?
It's a fluffy cat.
It's gonna be so fun, by the way. I mean, I just don't want to watch that movie.
That's the last.
Okay, we'll give you the resources, right? So we can discuss it at some points before. So when Ibn come back, he said this, put your hand on your chest. I mean, that's a practical Islam now. You gotta identify how to feel if it's doubtful or not. فَإِنَّ الْقَلْبَ يَضْطَرِبُ لِلْحَرَامِ. He said your heart is not gonna be at peace. You know, it's gonna start beating hard. I'm gonna breathe heavily. You're missing me with a dog. You know, this means you have riba. I don't have riba because I have read enough and I have my own circumstances and I know the Maliki madhab very well and I have studied it. So from my perspective, based on my situation and my studying, I'm 100% convinced that it's okay to have a dog. It's a puppy, by the way. Little puppy, right? Fluffy and beautiful. It's not a dog, right? So for me, it's 100% okay. I know when I put my hand on my heart, I will never feel nothing. Nothing. I'm 100% comfortable based on my circumstances, situation, experience, and knowledge. But if someone else would buy a dog and they would say, oh, this shit is so hypocrite, look at the dog coming out of his face. And then you put your heart in your chest when you talk about dogs and if you're breathing heavily or it's beating so hard, no, that's doubt for you. So stay away from that. It's good for you. That is the wara' that Rasulullah is recommending. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Here back, you don't have to come ask questions. So now I'm teaching you guys, we're learning together today how to answer questions. What do people ask about? Every single day. There's a question about mortgage. Enough. Khalas. You ask it so many times. And we said that we have two opinions. The opinion that says, stay away from it, it's a doubtful matter, that's wara'. The opinion that says the European Council of Research and Fatwa, of course European are not, are not Muslims, European Council of Fatwa, also. So European Council of Fatwa, you go there, 34 scholars from different schools of thought are telling you the answer, that why it's halal and under what circumstances. I would rather give reference to Islam Q&A, that's one sheikh, based on one sheikh's opinion, over the European Council because it's European, and that's Islam Q&A, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is this. We say to people two opinions. One says it is halal because of your circumstances here. and the options you have, and the economical situation of Muslims. The second opinion says, avoid, it's a haram, it's riba, you're going to go to hell. I mean, you're going to go to hell, that's an extreme, right? But if it says to you, avoid it, that's the wara we're talking about today. So you don't have to come ask. Now you know that you have different opinions. You decide for yourself. The same thing about eating chicken. I mean, avoid beef, guys. But I know a lot of Muslims also eat beef, because they also have different opinions of eating beef from non-halal or non-dabiha. Also two different opinions in this regard as well. But let's talk about chicken. Scholars have taken it easy on chicken, right? So we're talking about chicken. Some scholars say they are haram. You can't eat chicken that's not dabiha here in Canada, in our circumstances. Some scholars say it is okay. We have two different opinions. The majority of them don't die before they are slaughtered, so you can eat them. What do you feel? What do you feel? What do you feel? You have to answer yourself. You have to answer this question yourself. So before coming to ask me, I ask these questions every single day. You don't have to ask me, because I'm not going to give you directions. And you know what? Here's something I noticed. After 10 years in this city, and I'm not talking about Virginia in particular, I'm a member of different councils, imams councils. Normally, Muslims, especially in North America, and Allah and outside North America, they love to hear the word haram, just to give it to them. Wallahi, I'm not joking. If you explain to them that we have two different opinions, and here's the fatwa, here are the scholars, the references, they're not going to be really happy with you. They're going to think you're taking Islam so easy. That's the majority, not everybody. But once you say haram, he's going to have more respect for you and love you more. Okay, haram. Happy? Haram. If you want that, خلاص take it. Take it and go home back. خلاص? But if you want an informed approach, we have different opinions. Just 1 second, please. It's getting too cold, right? Yes. Even though I'm talking, but I'm cold. Sisters, are you cold there? Okay. Sisters are not cold. Because you're wearing hijab, mashallah. Like that, people. خلاص? طيب. So, and the Prophet said this. Put your hand on your chest. By the way, this is the main part of the hadith, right? If you understand this, we don't have to talk much. You just understand that you put your hand on your chest. If your heart is not at ease, that means you know from your heart you think it's doubtful. Stay away from it unless you ask and you think it's not doubtful. Why? And this is why يسكن للحلال. You have this tranquility when you know it is halal for yourself. And Rasulullah said what? When he was asked about al-birr. Al-birr is righteousness, right? What did he say about birr? He said this. Al-birru, what is the definition of birr? He said, al-birr husnul khuluq. Good manners. Good manners. That is the definition of being a Muslim who is righteous. It does not matter how much knowledge you have if you're not, the way you carry yourself is not appropriate. It's all about how you treat people. And then he said, وَالْإِثْمِ, sinfulness or sinning is مَا حَاكَ فِي صَدْرِكَ. You know, you feel something in your heart. Your heart is not at peace. Something in your chest is not right. You're breathing heavily. Right? مَا حَاكَ فِي صَدْرِكَ وَخَشِيتَ أَنْ يَطَّلِعَ النَّاسِ عَلَيْهِ. And you're scared that people are going to be aware of it. So once you feel I have to do it away from people, it could be I'm watching something online, inappropriate. It could be I'm talking to someone, and nobody's watching me. It could be I'm seeing certain things. It could be I'm working in a certain place. It could be I'm buying a dog. It could be it could be anything, right? So once you feel something in your chest, that means it's haram. There is the rest of the narration, if you guys want to add this. And the Prophet said, فَإِنَّ الصِّدْقَ دَعْ مَا يَرِيبُكَ إِلَى مَا لَا يَرِيبُكَ. The rest of the narration is فَإِنَّ الصِّدْقَ طُمَأْنِينَ. Indeed, صدق, truthfulness, is tranquility. فَإِنَّ الصِّدْقَ طُمَأْنِينَ. Indeed, truthfulness is tranquility in the heart. وَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ رِيبَ. But lying is riba, is doubt in the heart. Plus,
Can you say it again?
فَإِنَّ الصدق. Sidq is truthfulness. Indeed, truthfulness, صدق, doing what's right, being true to yourself. طمأنينة, tranquility in the heart. وإن الكذب, the opposite of صدق, الكذب, lying, is ريبة, doubt in the heart. A question to you. Okay, what about we have people, for example, who do haram, but they feel very tranquil, right? They're on drugs, and they're very okay, fine, there's nothing in my heart. I'm not ashamed of dressing a certain way on the beach, for example, you know?
It's a punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Huh?
It's a punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you. So that's called intikasatul fitra. The fitra is upside down. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about believers here. خلاص? We're talking about the Sahaba who asked the Prophet. He said, to you guys, my community, you're going to find that in your heart if you're doing something that's doubtful. But if somebody's so okay with this, is that a measurement that, oh, it's okay, you know, he's doing astaghfirullah zina, and he's so happy about it. That means it's halal? No, it means this guy's fitra is upside down. His iman is upside down. It doesn't mean that's a criteria to identify. Okay, we talked about wara'. In our tradition, we have something called al-wara' al-kadhib. Fake wara'. Fake taqwa. What is al-wara' al-kadhib? Al-wara' al-kadhib is to try, let's write this down. It's very important. Al-wara' al-kadhib, the fake wara', is to try to be more religious than Rasulullah himself. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wallahi al-azim, some people try to be more religious than Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Abu Bakr. And more religious than Sayyidina Umar. And more religious than Sayyidina Rasulullah himself, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How so? It happened in his time, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Sahaba asked him about certain matters. And he allowed them. And he gave them the permission. Rasulullah, and then some other people were avoiding those things. After Rasulullah gave the permission. They were avoiding them. Just he doesn't want to come near the haram. Okay, good for you. But what did Rasulullah say then? He said, مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ, what's wrong with those people? يَتَنَزَّهُونَ فِي أَشْيَاء أَتَرَخَصُ فِيهَا. They're staying away from things that I have permitted. Allah said in Surah Al-A'raf what? قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق. Can someone tell us the number of the ayah? Hadith? Huh? 32. Ayah 32. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. He said the number of the ayah without looking. You see this? Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah wa quwwata illa billah. This is why I can't stop loving you. Really. And every time I see you walking, I will pick you up. Like I always do. Look at this guy. Allahu Akbar. Surah Al-A'raf, what chapter is it? See? Very confident. So it's chapter 7, verse 32, right? I don't think I have to look it up. I don't even have to look it up. So that's it. The number, that's it. Allahu Akbar. So open your Mus'hafs, guys, or go online to chapter 7, verse 32. See, you have someone like Hudayfa in the community, and someone like Abdullah, like everybody else here, the evangelist, this guy. You can't skate him. Allahu Akbar, mashallah. So, can you open your Mus'haf, please? Verse number, chapter 7, verse 32. Did you find it? Are you able to read it to us?
The meaning?
Huh?
The meaning?
The meaning. قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ.
Say who has forbidden the adornment of Allah which He has
Say who have forbidden the adornments of Allah which He has permitted, and
for His servants and the good things of provision.
And the good things of provision.
Say they are for those who believe during the worldly life, exclusively for them on the day of resurrection. Thus do we detail the verses for a people who know.
Barakallahu feek. What's your name?
Abdul
Very, very dedicated to the class. MashaAllah. Always in the first line. MashaAllah. Allah bless you and do that. Allahumma ameen. Always brings him to the first line before the prayer starts. Plus, so who can forbid what Allah? Who can forbid the adornments that Allah has made lawful for us? A lot of parents do this to their kids, and they make their life miserable at home. A lot of husbands make their wives' lives are miserable, and sisters to their husbands, because they're trying to restrict people. And that's what I always say to teachers, guys, please don't be very protective of our students. We hate Islam because of you. We hate Islam because of you. You see him having a certain haircut, you criticize him. I was just standing up with one of the teachers one time, and then students were playing soccer. And then they came back from soccer, and one of them were wearing a short, it was one of the shorts, and the shorts were a little bit short. I think that's funny. So a little bit short, exposing his knees, right? I saw that, but that was in front of everybody else. That was in front of everybody else. And then the teacher stopped him. Well, let's change that. Okay, I understand. I totally understand how you care about him. And I agree with you on that, on the subject, even though we have to do different opinions on the thigh, if it's a part of your awra or not. Do you guys know this? See? Doubtful matter, Aslan. We're Aslan talking about doubtful matters. And you know who allowed the thigh to be exposed? The Hanbaliya. The madhab that you think they are so strict. And the Zahiriyya. Can you imagine that, Zahiriyya? Shocking. The Zahiriyya, they said the thigh is not a part of the awra of a man. I had a brother, at one time I think in Tunisia, won against France in the World Cup. They won, right? So I posted on Facebook. I was so excited for Tunisia, because we did not do nothing, Egyptians, right? So I posted on Facebook. I was so glad. A brother what he did, he sent that post to me on Messenger, and he was just going hammer on me. Brother, be careful, right? And then I did not respond. I mean, there's nothing to respond to. He's so unhappy that the player has his thigh exposed. Yeah, look at the fitna. Like, I cannot stop watching the fitna. Yeah, it's doubtful matter. It's a doubtful matter. If you think it's not haram, that's Zahiri and Hanbali. If you think it's haram, it's a given. The rest of the scholars think it's haram to show your thigh. But the point here, the student walking in front of everybody else and in front of the other teacher, you stop him and you criticize him, that's not halal, aslan. No.
Is the Zahiri madhab the fifth madhab?
Yeah, it is. It's the fifth madhab. Khalas, guys? So, being very strict, we had a young man here came a few years ago, and I told this story in front of him, I say it again. I used to love him.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I was just wondering, since we're talking about the doubtful matters, like the gray matter, the gray area, does music fall under that, or?
100%. Look, when I speak about music,
Can you please repeat the question again?
the question is does music, this is music, she did not say songs, she said music. Does music fall under this? Is it a doubtful matter or not?
Yeah.
The answer to this is definitely music is a doubtful matter. That is it. That is the fiqh answer. Somebody is unhappy, it's not my business. Wallahi al-azim, I'm not here to make him happy or her. I'm here to tell you that in our tradition, we have on music, just music without lyrics, without mixing between men and women, without what follows, music, just music, the sound of music. We have two different opinions on it. So it's a doubtful matter. But you want to add bad lyrics and try to speak about today's songs? No, I'm gonna tell you stay away from that. And I don't want to say, I don't want to describe today's songs, because if I did that, I'm going to use very bad language, and I'm not going to do that, right? So today's songs are definitely taken away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the vast majority of them. So we're not talking about songs here, forwarding songs to each other, listening to songs, right? We're not talking about that, it's haram. But we're talking about music. Just listen to music. Plus, whatever. What was that? Oh, there was a young man here used to come, mashallah, handsome young man. And I really wanted him in the masjid. Not because he's handsome, but because he's start wondering. He was, mashallah, younger brother. He's generally one of the people who, like, pioneers of this community, right? He came to the masjid one time and he had earrings. Earrings. I said this example many times. Someone saw him kept criticizing in front of people and humiliated him and yelled at his dad. Wallahi al-azim, uqsim billah, I'm not making that up. Wallahi, I never saw him after that in the masjid. Wallahi, I never saw him. Maybe after a few years he came to a wedding in the masjid. So what did you win? Did you fix something? You destroyed his iman.
Made it worse.
Let him come to the masjid. I'm not saying, guys, next class, come with earrings. That's not what I'm saying. Because some people might think, oh, she's so hypocrite. She wants us to wear earrings. Of course not. I'm here to tell you that earrings, we can sit down and discuss them gradually. Make sure he comes to the masjid first. Actually, if he comes to the masjid for long enough, he will find that he looks so different. So he's going to stop wearing this, at least when he comes here first, and then outside. But until then, he can do whatever he wants. And if you tell him to take it off outside of the masjid, he's going to teach you, listen. And this masjid is for everyone. You're not allowed to kick somebody outside the masjid if it's not harming anybody. خلاص? Anwar al-Kadr, guys, is to try to be more religious than Rasulullah himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know if I have anything else here to add. Just very few examples here how the Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to avoid the doubtful matters. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhum had a slave, and the slave, when he goes to work, he has to give his master, that was in the past, like a percentage of his income, right? So Sayyidina Abu Bakr knows that his slave used to be a magician in the pre-Islamic period. He said, كنت قد تكهنت كهانة في الجاهلية. Kahana, al-kahin is a magician, right? Magician. So his slave was a magician in the pre-Islamic period, and he has some money with him. But now he's working for Sayyidina Abu Bakr, and he has to give a percentage every month, or every certain amount of time, to his master. My question to you: let's say this slave has money already from the haram job that he used to do. And now his master is going to take a share of that money. Is it halal or haram for his master? Okay, look at this. Like, for example, I give another example to make it clear. I am a carpenter. I'm a carpenter.
Photograph.
Okay? And I went to work for someone, and that person makes his money out of something that's haram. Without giving an example. Can I take my payment from him, from his money?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You answered the question about saying no, but it's not doubtful. Because the means are different. I'm taking the money from halal means. He got it from haram means. It's his. What is the evidence? Rasulullah used to accept gifts from the sadaqat that his slaves used to receive. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Is Rasulullah allowed to get sadaqat?
No.
No. But he's allowed to get gifts. But he's taken from the sadaqah of his slave. Because his slave gave it as a gift. So that's halal. Because the means are gifts, not sadaqah. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr is allowed to take that. But he avoided that. Why did he avoid? One time he ate from it, and then his slave told him it's from the magician, fortune telling, whatever has to do with the Jahiliyyah periods. That's a share of it. Sayyidina Abu Bakr put his finger in his throat, his mouth, and he threw up everything. Does he have to do this? He doesn't. It's wara. No.
So I was going to say, just to differentiate between the means itself, like as a carpenter, you couldn't build something haram for that person.
Absolutely.
But like his wealth or whatever,
100%.
that means will be fine.
100%. You cannot build a place if you're sure that he's going to use this place to this business Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somebody is a hairdresser, and somebody is asking you to make a haram haircut. Everyone's going to ask me about haircuts later, please. It's a very common question. No, you don't make the haram haircuts. You are sure they're going to use this place as, I don't want to give examples, but you know the examples. I'm going to build that place so Allah will be disobeyed inside. Don't do that. That's haram. But I built the place and I don't know how he's going to use it. And then he used it in a haram way or halal. It's his problem, not my problem. You got it? I'm just trying to make it as brief as possible because of your time, guys. Is there any questions for me? Yes, yeah. Again, and then Sister Jo.
The ayah about don't make haram what is allowed. What about when like the Prophet ﷺ, how is that different from when the Prophet ﷺ talked about he doesn't like the lizard, but he wouldn't stop people from
He doesn't like it.
he doesn't like the taste.
Exactly, you just answered that. The answer is in the question.
Oh,
The Rasulullah did not like lizard. But he never said it is haram or it's disliked or it's makruh. He just didn't like it.
like the taste.
Do you guys like sushi? Some people love sushi. I don't know why. And some people really don't like it at all. I eat it because I'm forced. My wife forces me. And I actually started to like it because I have to. I mean, not married yet. But once you're married, you will learn that you have to like certain things. But sushi is not haram. You're eating fish. Same thing with the lizard. Sister, please.
So I was just wondering, let's just say when the Prophet gave the advice of putting your hand on your chest, knowing if your heart is okay with it or not. Let's say I'm not too sure what my heart is feeling, or it's not telling me the answer, but I have other evidences such as, let's say, for example, listening to music, and suddenly I started seeing myself not doing much of the adhkars that I used to do, or concentrating on my Quran to the point where I'm drifting away way worse than like what I used to, like, completely different.
So it's making you work. The music is making you become a bad person.
Like
Away from Allah subhanahu wa
away
ta'ala.
from, yes, like the remembrance of Allah or the Quran or the Salah, like delaying Salah and all that. Can I take such examples if I don't feel anything in my heart?
That's a great question, right? Great question. Excellent. Absolutely. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. If you think music, that sister is saying, if I like music and I know it's that whole matter, and they did my research and they found that we have two different opinions on music itself, music, not songs. And then I decided to listen to music, right? But I noticed the music is taking me away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I notice that, should I stay from it or not? You shouldn't. You actually must stay from it. But there's a common understanding between people that when music goes into the heart, it replaces Quran or replaces Iman. Okay, bring me an ayah. Bring me a hadith. I'm not talking about, we're done with the question. But I'm talking now about the common understanding. You know, when the music goes to your heart, the Iman goes, well, who told you that? It's a saying by some scholars. Did Rasulullah say that? My question is, did the Quran say this? No. Did Rasulullah say this? Did he say that? If you find the answer, is the hadith, bring it next time. You will not find it.
I know that for some scholars they use lahu or like idle talk as an example of music in the Quran.
Great. The answer is in the question. He said down, I heard. I'm just saying that the answer is in the question. Some scholars, another word you have to elaborate on, right? I said some scholars. Right? Some scholars, saying that lahu is, at idle talk, is music. Okay. They think that lahu is music because of some sayings of the Sahaba, radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Abbas. Okay. I mean, I respect what Sayyidina Abbas said. But do I have to follow it? Lahu means music. That's all that? Did Rasulullah say that? That's my question. Because lahu is music according to Sayyidina Abbas, but not according to the Quran. The Quran could have said musiqa. The Quran could have said musiqa. The Quran could have said ma'azif. Isn't the word ma'azif used in the Quran and the Sunnah? It's in Sahih Bukhari. Rasulullah said the word ma'azif in Sahih Bukhari. Ma'azif means what? Musical instrument. So musical instrument is ma'azif. And the Quran used the word lahu. Khalas? Please focus with me for a second. Focus on the words. Like listen to the terms that are used. Quran said lahu. Rasulullah said ma'azif. Why didn't the Quran say ma'azif? So this means lahu is not ma'azif. The Quran could have said ma'azif because it's using the sunnah, the same source. When some scholars say lahu is ma'azif, ماشي يا عم حاضر. I respect your opinion, but don't force me to follow it. It's your own interpretation. That's not the interpretation of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What I'm trying to tell you here is this. I'm going to go with this. Wait, please. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. You have to look for the haqq. What is the haqq? What is the absolute truth? The absolute truth is what Allah said, which is قطع الثبوت والدلالة. I explained this many times. I will never get bored of this. Allah said قطع الثبوت, authentically narrated. قطع الدلالة has one meaning. That is haqq. Haqq means I can die for it. Literally, I can fight and die for that haqq. Something that's mentioned in the Quran and has only one meaning. That's just one meaning. That's absolute haqq, I'm going to die for it. طيب, is this ayah ومن الناس من يشتري له الحديث له, is it قطع الدلالة? It's a قطع الثبوت, authentically narrated, it's in the Quran, but it's not قطع الدلالة. Dalala means the meaning. So the meaning can be ma'azif and can be some other idle talks. We're not talking about idle talks, we're talking about music now, right? It can be some other type of idle talk. So it's not the haqq that I should fight for, which means there's room for differences. But if it's a dhann al-thubut or dhann al-dalala, there's a doubt in its authenticity or a doubt in its meaning, different interpretations, that's not the haqq that I should die for. For us, this is the conclusion of this class. Any other questions?
Just to comment on what the sister said, that if, let's say, you listen to music and you find yourself going away, if it's the other case that you're listening and you don't find yourself straying for that person, for the same action of listening to music, would it be like mubah in that case?
Of course, absolutely, because in the first case, it's haram al-ghayr. Haram al-ghayr. It's not haram li-dhatih. Haram li-dhatih means that matter itself is haram li-dhatih. It's haram itself. Is it the music or not? Is music haram li-dhatih?
No.
That's the question. Haram li-dhatih, like work. It's haram li-dhatih. Regardless of what it makes you, how it makes you feel. Somebody says, I drink alcohol and they can still function mentally. Okay, it's haram li-dhatih. So if you write these two terms, haram li-dhatihi, it's in itself haram, or haram li-ghayrihi, it's haram because of something else. Because it led to alcohol is haram li-dhatihi, work is haram li-dhatihi. Music, in that case, is haram li-ghayrihi, but it's a doubtful matter. What would I advise people to do? Avoid music if you can. Avoid music if you can. But you know that some people, music makes them function way better. Do you guys agree? That when you listen to music, it makes you study better. It makes you, that's why they play music at the gym. Somebody might say, no, it doesn't make me exercise better, or harder, or anything, whatever. That makes other people. So music makes some people function better, be more active. I'm not saying, it might sound like the Sheikh is saying go watch music, go listen to music. It sounds like this right now, go listen to music. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying music is doubtful matter and it has different impacts on different people. If it makes you away from Allah, it's haram لغيره. If it doesn't, it's still doubtful.
So it's basically based on the 5 different rulings. Like, for example, mortgage might be haram, halal for some people. So is it kind of the same thing?
Yes, you could say that. Yeah, you could say that, but it's not. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Because you have to ask about the person's circumstances. How many kids he has, where does he live, his financial states. What happens if he doesn't have a bigger house? You always have to ask about all these things, right?
Yeah, let's say someone that's like not Muslim, they're a bartender, and they work like 20 years and they get a lot of money, and then they convert to Islam, would that money be like halal for them?
Absolutely. It says, فإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون فإن تبتم that's what البقرة فلكم رؤوس أموالكم الله استخدم الربا here. So he made made money out of haram. But if he repents to Allah, فلكم رؤوس أموالكم, you keep your capital, you keep your money. رؤوس أموالكم, keep it. Keep it. If you want to give sadaqat, it's up to you. It's better to give sadaqat. But can I keep my money? Yes, keep your money. And you repent now. Islam يجب ما قبله. So many evidences. Islam erases everything that happens before. So your money is your money. لكم Allah said that. فإن تبتم, if you repent, فلكم رؤوس أموالكم. Keep your money. سورة البقرة آية 2. لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون. We good here? Any more questions? Okay. Jazakallah khair. I'll make sure to show you the dua inshallah. Allah. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى اله واصحابه اجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا يا ربنا علما. اللهم الف بين قلوبنا واصلح ذات بيننا وانزع الغل والحقد والحسد والبغضاء من صدورنا. اللهم طهر صدورنا وصف نفوسنا واجعلنا سلما لاخواننا هداة لغيرنا. امين امين امين. وصل اللهم وسلم وزد وبارك على نبينا مولانا محمد وعلى اله واصحابه اجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.